Hey guys, it's Bruno again, and today we're gonna be talking about like we've talked about languages, physics and chemistry, math. Also, we have different subjects that we haven't talked about. We're not gonna be talking about business, or we're just gonna go with the simple actually like classes. So today we're gonna be talking about history, geography. Do we have it here? No, no. Here we go. We have history, geography, and visual arts. Um, so welcome to the video where we talk about these three subjects that look completely different, but actually share one thing. They're all much easier once you understand how you're assessed, especially IB history because that's the one I did. I am doing. So today we're gonna be covering history, geography, and visual arts. We'll look at what to study, what exams you take, how the internals work, and the best strategy to survive each subject. So we're gonna be starting with actually like we're gonna be starting with IB history, which is my favorite subject between these three. Because this depends on the area you're actually your school wants to work out. There is different contents between the 1400s until something really close to nowadays history. In my school, we took the what we know as the beginning of the 20th century, of basically from the industrialization. We didn't saw industrialization as a topic; we saw it as a context, and um, also until the end of World War II. We didn't see what happened with Japan and United States. We saw like that the end of our topics are the Pearl Harbor on like what happened with Japan and USA. So what to study? So in my case, we had the 20th century topics like authoritarian states, wars, social movements, conflicts, and case studies like Japan, Germany, Italy. Yeah, it's all about causes, consequence, and comparisons. So on paper one, we have a source analysis. This, I think, it's the easiest type of exam you could have in history. Oh yeah, sorry. Something really important to mention. No matter if you are doing a something with the French Revolution or the Russian, Soviet, like doesn't matter which topic are you doing on the IB. The exams are going to be quite the same thing. Um, Only on the essays it might change, but for example, paper one is the same structure for every single topic. What to study? Oh, sorry, guys. On paper two, you're gonna have a source analysis. Basically, they're gonna give you four different sources, and you're gonna have a different questions. In my scenario, I have 9A, 9B, 10, 11, and 12. Actually, we have 5 questions. You have an hour to do with it to do this, which is really hard because everything is gonna go really fast. You're not gonna have a time for a break or a actual like way to to take a deep breath and actually think what you're writing. You actually have to spread everything that you know. So on the case of 9A and 9B, oh sorry guys, to I just advanced a bit. So in my case we have question 9A and 9B. So 9A is gonna be, according to this source, what are the three what are the important things that this source is telling us about this thing. In my topics, which is move to the global war, we have Japan and the World War One. Oh wait, did we actually have World War One? I don't know. I forgot. Doesn't matter. Oh no, sorry. It's Japan and Germany and Italy. And so most of the time they're gonna ask you for Japan, more like Germany and Italy. But they also can ask you that. It doesn't matter. So on 9A you have to say like three different things that the source is saying. That's it. Like something really fast, 5 minutes. a tip that you can actually take is that when they give you the 5 minutes reading time, instead of reading, like, you can read all the sources, but you're gonna have like 3 minutes left. So with the 3 minutes left, since you can't write, you can think about the answer for 9A and 9B. So that's my little tip, you know. So yeah, 9A is really easy to answer. Like, you just have to copy and paste what the source is saying, like on one sentence. On like, you have to do three things on like one sentence. 9B, it's most likely that they're gonna give you a picture, and you have to analyze what's happening in this picture. Um, like, what is the message, and what is it explaining about the history. Then question number 3, well, in this case, in my case, it will be question number 10. There you have to do an OPCVL. What is an OPCVL? So an OPCVL is origin, purpose, content, value, and limitation. So about this, I recommend you to, like, they're gonna tell you with this, according to this source, what is the origin and purpose and of of the values and limitations of this, and like of something specific. And then origin of the source. And I mean, you can divide this paper in two different topics. Um, I would go with values and limitations, and inside the values and like each paragraph, you would talk about the origin, content, and the purpose of this source. I think that's easier. And here, sorry, on 9A you have to take 5 minutes. On 9B you have to take another 5 minutes. On 10 you have to take around 10 minutes. It's not. I mean, it's really hard because you're gonna save up time on 9A. Then on 11 you have to take 15 minutes, and you're gonna finish with question number 12, which is 25 minutes. On question number 11, it's a compare contrast. You have to compare and contrast two different sources. According to these different sources, blah 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 blah, and you have to compare and contrast. That's it. Like, what is this source saying? What is this source saying? Normally, it's there's a lot of difference between the two sources that they're gonna tell you, so it's really hard to find what, like, something that they have on similarities. And then on the last question, question number 12, you actually like, you need to write an essay. They're gonna tell you, like, and here it's the only time you're actually gonna use your knowledge, your own knowledge, because they're gonna ask you a question and then you have to answer. Good thing about this, you don't have to remember any examples because you have all the evidence on the sources that you've already read. And actually, if you don't like, you can learn about the context of what, like, Japan and Germany and Italy. But if you didn't knew anything, you can actually answer the question with just the sources and, like, see what happened. And yeah, you can answer the question just with the sources. So that's pretty good. It's same format at both high level and standard level. So yeah, that's pretty chill. Then we have paper 2, and paper 3 only for a high level. Paper 2 is gonna be a essay. You actually have to write 2 essays. It's a thematic essay questions. Like, they're gonna give you 2 different questions from each topic. That depends on your school what chose. And in my case is authoritarian states of Hitler and Mao, and um and causes and effects of wars during the 20th century, like World War One, Spanish Civil War, World War Two, and Chinese Civil War. Both of them, but it's more important to know the second one. So in here, they're gonna ask you 2 different questions, like on each topic. You have to choose one of these questions between the topics. So you actually have 2 questions to answer. In here, it's it's key to evaluate the different sources. You have to do a outline, like a fast outline. While you're reading it, you can do a fast outline um, about what you're going to be talking about. The if the question talks about economic causes, what economic causes are you going to talk about? Um, I mean, that depends a lot on between the history topics and all that. That's why I'm not going to teach the topics of history, because that's more into what the question is actually asking. Um, so you basically have to be an expert of the topics that your teacher has chosen you to do in the IB. Um, and you have around 1 hour, or no, you have 1 hour and 30 minutes, which is almost 40 minutes for each essay, and um you literally have to write 5 minutes on each paragraph. On the introduction, you have to do from 5 to 6 lines. You're gonna say what you're gonna be answering with what, and uh, and do a basic context, like what did actually happen here. Then for the arguments, you're gonna write around 12 and 15 lines, and you have to do 4 arguments. And later you have to do a, like, this is more optional, but you can do a conclusion, which is sorry, inside the arguments you have to talk, you have to follow the structure of peel. Peel is purpose, example, no, explanation, example, and then link it to the purpose again. That's a really good way to actually analyze. But you cannot describe, like, you can't describe the history. You have to be asking yourself every time the question, like, why am I actually saying this? Is this going to answer the question? Is this actually an economic cause? Is this actually a long-term cause, for example? So you have to be answering the question every time. And you have to do that with the 4 different arguments. What I recommend to do 2 against and 2 in favor of what the question is saying. Like, to what extent did the blah blah blah? I think no, you. Sorry guys, you don't say I. You have to talk in third person, and that's really important because this is an analysis. They're not asking you for your own opinion. You can maybe give your own opinion um, on the conclusion, but I would not recommend it to do that, because what they're looking in here is how, with the different knowledge and with the different examples how would you answer this question. They don't care about the opinion. They don't care if you're if you have a side of a political side of view. They don't care about that. They care about, with all the knowledge how, like, you're expressing this to me. How are you gonna argument this? And it's the same time for standard level and high level. And the good thing about this is that paper 3 had the same format. The only thing that paper 3 has different from paper 2 is that they have more time. Paper 3 is a lot more time. I think it's 2 hours and 30 minutes. And in here, you have 3 different topics. In my case, we already saw these topics on paper 1 and paper 2. And my teacher, she's lovely. I can mention her. She's amazing at her job. And she actually made it really simple for HL and SA and SL. Like, I changed to high level on the last minute, and it was not a big deal. I just had to learn a Paris Peace Treaties, and the rest of it we already saw it in class. So it was actually quite well done. Thank you, Annabelle. Thank you. So yeah. So on paper 3, you're gonna have 3 different topics, and in here, the good thing about paper 3 is that you don't have to choose a question for each topic. You have to answer 3 questions, but you actually can choose 2 from the same topic. You don't have to, like, you can actually, if you know one topic more than another topic, you can actually focus on that topic and answer two of the questions that they give you. So that's actually easier. On history, high level, the hardest exam is paper 2, because you're forced to do one of each topic. But on paper 3, you have an option, so you can actually eliminate one of those options. Although I wouldn't recommend to do that. The history internal assessment. The history internal assessment is a 2,200 words investigation. In here, you have to identify your topic and framing a precise investigation question. In my case, I talked about the radio, how the radio affected the Spanish Civil War. Like how you have to do a more complex question. I'm not gonna talk about my internal assessment, but it's basically doing a analysis. It's basically doing a paper 2, but with sources, and like you can search up sources, and you have to search up a lot of things, because this topic, like, you shouldn't be studying it, but it's easier when you are studying this topic. So yeah, you have to do like the identification, then analysis of sources. It's divided into 3 sections: section A, section B, and section C. So in section A, it's identification. Section B, it's more of analysis of sources. You're just gonna evaluate and not summarize. In this section, you analyze sources rather than retell them, because you already told them in the section A. Like, you just identify the sources. But on section B, you have to actually analyze, how is this source important or not? How is this relevant or not? It's basically doing a paper 2. You have to show evidence of supports of your line of argument. And then the reflection is it's not extra summary, it's about doing history. Comment on your methods you used, reflect about the things you like, the methods, the values and limitations of your investigation, and how to fix this. Because in history, you can't actually say, okay, this is done, because there's more information coming out. So that could be a good limit. So how to study history efficiently. Make timelines. In my case, I can't remember the years. So if I know what's like how it actually happened in the real time world, like first was the Japanese expansion, then the World War One. Then, like, you can also put Japan in World War One. Then after World War One, what happened? The Weimar Republic, the rise of Hitler. Mussolini was also over there. The Spanish Civil War was beginning before World War Two. The rise of Hitler, Mao, the Japanese expansion once again. Like, it's all related. The history is all related, and that's like, if you divide the topics, and like ask the topics, it might be confusing for you. In my case, I think it's easier to actually make a timeline than learn the cause chains, study like the chains reaction, like cause, then trigger, and then outcome. That's that like long-term impact. So you like spin relationships instead of listing just facts. I think it's, in my case, it's like reading a book and learning a story. What happened with this? What happened with that? Why did Japan attack China? Because of something, like a certain cause, Also, use essay templates. Templates protect you from exams by looking in structure, introduction, argument, evidence, and comparison. So you stay clear when stressed. Because what's gonna happen to you is you're just gonna yap about everything that you know, because you've studied for everything, and you're just gonna yap about it. But if you follow a structure, and you don't pass throughout that structure, you can get a good essay. And memorize 3 examples of everything, basically. Now we're gonna go with IB geography. So what are you gonna be studying? You're gonna be studying the development, climate, resources, urbanization, risk, population, and a lot of technical vocabulary. So on paper one, you're gonna have optional themes, like water, leisure, and hazards. In here, I can't really focus a lot on the difference between high level and standard level, most likely because geography is one of the like there's probably like not a lot of students in our IB classes. So in my scenario, I don't know any, like I don't know much about geography itself. Um, I know visual arts kind of. So just if you're actually gonna look for geography tips, like if you're actually depending on these on this video, please don't, because IB tips and chips don't know much about geography. Sorry guys. So on paper 2 and paper 3 only for a high level. Paper 2 is going to be the core themes, like three theme driven papers focus on big ideas, link between population development and global interaction, not just global interactions. And on paper 3 is going to be a case study, basically. It's going to be a HLSA who is provided like with a case study connected to the course concepts and the wider examples. So yeah, that was fast. Geography internal assessment. So this is going to be a field work with the real data. You're going to use graphs, analysis, and conclusions. Yeah, sorry guys. How to study for geography efficiently? That's a good question, because I don't know. Learn definitions exactly as they tell you. Use real and recent case studies and practice describing graphs. Upward trend, peak, decline, fluctuation. That's the only advice I can give you. Visual arts. That was fast though. Visual arts. Visual arts is very interesting because if you are doing visual arts, you're not going to have any exams on the IB exams. So you're taking away probably 3 exams away if you're doing high level. But it has an issue. You have to do a lot of projects. You have to paint a lot. You have to, like, the visual arts, it's focused on developing, like on improving your skills. So what you do, you use 3 components. We have a comparative study, which compares selective artworks like analyze style, techniques, and context support. This is close to like what you do on the languages a high level. Though also you have to do a process portfolio, which documents your process, your like record your experiments and techniques, and show the development over time. You don't have the exams, but you have the exhibition. The exhibition is actually key for your IB mark. It's the only thing. I think it's the only thing that they grade you from like from the whole subject, and it's like you present your final works, like justify key decisions, like explain intention and behind the outcomes. How and then then convenience that allows listening while multitasking. Yeah, we've talked about. Oh, sorry guys. How to study visual arts. You have, yeah, document absolutely everything you do. Explain why you make each choice and connect techniques with intention. That's the things I could tell you. History is basically use templates and examples. Predictable exams reward structure and evidence arguments. Geography is more definitions and case studies. That makes answers precise. Like make answers precise and practice graph descriptions. And then visual arts document every step, justify choices, and link technique to intention clearly. Overall, IB past paper, you have to repeat IB past papers, and because this is gonna save you a lot of time, especially from what I know, you can only repeat like 2 past papers on geography and history. So these subjects may look heavy, but they all follow a very clear logic. Especially history. If you understand how you're assessed, you can optimize your study and save a huge amount of time. If you want, I can make individual videos for each subject with deeper strategies. Um, Although uh, it's just gonna be bad with geography. It's not my. I'm not very professional at this topic, so I hope you guys enjoyed our videos. For now, that's gonna be it. If we have the support that we're thinking of, we can actually give you more tips. We can show you what was our own experience as IB students. Um, and furthermore, any more tips into the chips. Thank you guys, and I hope if you're, I'm sure you're not gonna see this May 2026. So May 2027 or November 2026 or November 2027. If you're looking this, or if you're gonna begin with the IB tips and chips, make sure um, that before starting you know everything, like you know all the structure and how it's gonna happen. Because in my case, I came a bit late to the IB. I came in November on DP1, and I don't know if they gave you this like what have you gone into with the IB, but in my case they didn't tell me anything. Although I came late, So I'm sure there's so many videos and so many. There's gonna be so many websites about past papers and case studies and like all the information you have it online. That's really good with things with the IP. So I hope you guys enjoyed and like and subscribe for you to have more tips in your chips. Thank you guys.